Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mind Positival podcast, where I get to speak to some fantastic people. And today I have a wonderful guest. She is a dancer, actress, presenter, TV producer, and entrepreneur. And she has won many, many awards, including the Columbia Association Award, the Unico Appreciation Award, Who's Who Telly Awards, the Taste Awards, Global Woman Awards Entrepreneur, Puglia Center of America Award, and just recently, she's won two more awards, the Lifetime Achievement Award and the Woman of the Year Award and Italian International Dance Award 2024. Ornella, welcome to my podcast.
My goodness, ciao Biagio, I sound so good on the paper.
It's amazing. Congratulations on all those awards. I'm sure there's plenty more, but especially the
Thank
last
you
two,
so
I think
much.
last week or something, you won the.
Actually, yeah, the last two, you're missing one because
Okay.
I think on Monday I got one night two awards from the Movimento Associativo Italiani Esteri. I got the Excellence Star for my contribution to Italian and Italian American community. So
Well,
that was,
congratulations. Yeah.
another nice surprise. Thank
So,
you.
so your career started. Obviously, you were born in. We'll talk about where you were born and things like that. But you, to our listeners out there, you have made a significant impact on the Italian American community by promoting the Italian culture into the Italian American community. Is that correct?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct, correct.
So,
I was born in Italy. I grew up in Italy, and during one of my television, my actually not television show because I'm an ex-dancer, as you said. I was doing a production of a chorus line, the musical, and that's where I met my husband. That now is my ex-husband, but we met during the production of a chorus line. And because he's American, he said, "Hey, why don't we move in New York?" And I was young enough to say, "Sure, why not? Let's do it." Because he was from here, from Los Angeles, actually, but because of his show business career on Broadway, he was living in New York City. So when I moved in New York 32 years ago,
hmm
and then I felt the need to do something for the Italian community because, as you know, because you are foreign in a
hmm
way. Even though you moved in Sydney when you were a baby.
but
I moved here when I
I'm
was an
still a
old
foreigner.
baby.
Yeah, still a migrant.
Exactly. So, and I said, you know what? I really feel that is missing a TV show for Italians abroad. Who are we? What do we do? What's brought us here? How do we challenge ourselves to make a living in a foreign country with a big, thick Italian accent?
hmm
So, and most of the time people create a project based on their needs. So at that time, my need was creating a show for us and telling who we are and what we do and what brought us over here. Also, the mission was also to cancel the classic stereotype about Italians. You know, we are all mafiosi, we play mandolino, and we eat meatballs. We do actually some of those things, I mean, like play mandolino and
Yeah.
eat
Yeah.
meatballs. um, and also there was, the old Italian American style of cooking that, of course, through the years has been changing. So I said, oh, it can be fun to, film some shows from fine Italian restaurants and showcase how the Italian evolved, how the Italian cuisine evolved, what is new, what is trendy, and so on. So that's why I decided to produce this television show that is called Brindiamo and has been on air for 19 years on a PBS channel here in America. And then, of course, we did distribution thanks to these new platforms, video on demand, streaming, linear channel, OTT, and so on.
So I'll come back to the Brindiamo and also your company as well. But I want to start, you actually born in Reggio Calabria, so
No,
similar
I
to
was
me.
born in Calabria,
Yeah.
but I was born actually in Naples.
Oh, so you're born in Naples. Okay.
And then when I was 6 years old, we moved in Calabria. My mother is a Calabrese. My father was a Pugliese.
Right.
So, I'm definitely a woman of the South.
Yes, yes, definitely. And it all
Yes,
started with you studying piano and classical dance, is that right? And then you
correct,
you moved
correct.
to Rome at a young age as well.
Yes. So my big passion has been always the arts, dancing and play. I studied at the Conservatorio of Cosenza, pianoforte, but my real big passion was ballet. So,
Right.
and then I was invited when I was 16, 17 in Rome to dance with the Étoile of the Teatro of the Opera in Rome. She had her own national tour, and that's, I said, of course, I would love it to be part of this beautiful dance company. And then from there, my career really, took off, because I've been always very curious. So soon after, I start to explore dancing on Rai as a variety dancer. I study jazz, I study modern dance, and then I start to, usually dancers don't talk. I'm probably one of the few dancers that start to talk. And so I start to audition for commercials, but also for talk show. I've been the ambassador of GBR, which was the first private television in Rome. And that, I think, it was my, that's what I understood, that I want to be a television hostess. And I like to write my own show. I like to do journalism, but also, presenter. And now, of course, I like to also do the production side. So not just the front, but also the behind the scene.
Yeah.
And, I have my own company. It's called OK Productions LLC. And with the OK Production, we produce, shows with an Italian flair.
Yeah, and before I jump into that, because I've got a few questions there, you've
Sure.
performed with the great Massimo Ranieri, and you've also been in several sets of Fellini's film, and hey, there's some big names there, Ornella.
I know, I know. Biagio, I actually realize now that I'm getting older, that I really was lucky enough to work with some of the best actors, directors in Italy. So with Massimo Ranieri, which we stayed friends, and when he comes to New York, I always make sure to go and visit him and interview him. We did Rinaldo in Campo, which is a musical, commedia musicale written by Domenico Modugno. So another big name. He was
Yeah.
there at the opening night. And that was a show for Teatro Sistina, which is the #1 theater in Italy, with the music was Garinei Giovannini. And so I was lucky, because when you work with the very best, when you are 19, 20 years, your standard is so high, and you don't want to go back to do anything else than the best. I did Aggiungi un posto a tavola with Johnny Dorelli, another big name. Actually, I was invited to go for the 5th anniversary of Aggiungi un posto a tavola in Rome in December. 8th December is going to be the anniversary, and they're inviting all the cast from the last 50 years. I think there is 9 cast. So
Yeah.
I'm a #2 cast. We did in 1990.
So you're going to
So
go?
I think I'm going to go. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to see all my old friends dancers. So yeah, I think I'm going to go. And then instead the experience with Fellini, Zeffirelli as a dancer, I was in a scene with Marcello Mastroianni in the Fellini movie L'intervista. And then I was in the scene of the Ciprioti dancers in the movie of Zeffirelli. So yeah, again, great experience, because those are really masters,
Oh,
in the
absolutely.
industry.
Absolutely. And
So
for
yeah.
our listeners who know who these people are. These are the gods of Italian cinema film over the history.
Definitely.
But jumping back to Oak Productions and Brindiamo, my understanding is that it is a program that celebrates Italian cuisine and the lifestyles of Italians in America. So my question is, Ornella, is you're obviously bringing the Italian menu, let's say, cuisine to New York and America and all that, but they have their own cuisine they've evolved over because there's 7 or 8 generations now. They have their own Italian American cuisine.
Absolutely.
So how does that clash or mix, or how does that work when you present your show?
Well, like you said, the Italian American cuisine is a real cuisine, meaning that they have their own delicious dishes. And of course, I want to bring the authentic Italian new cuisine is just because it's what I know, you know, and so I can relate to that better. But I always say, everything that comes from the Italian American cuisine, like the meatballs, they come from Italy. You know, wasn't brought from a Japanese culture. It was brought from our own people. So it's just that it didn't evolve because they were, you know how they say Italian Americans, and I'm sure Italian in Australia, you know, on Sunday, they have these big dinners. So they somehow protect those old traditions that in Italy we don't have anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so, and because my need was talking about us, Italian today, I put a focus on the Italian cuisine. Always remember that the Italian American cuisine is a very strong reality. And as many of my Italian American friends said, this is comfort food. That's how we grow up. And, you know, chapeau to that, absolutely.
Yeah, so, and obviously you could see that ingredients played a part of what was available at the time for those generations. They went to not only America, but also Australia. In Australia, we've got plenty of produce. So we're probably a little bit closer to the Italian cuisine than other countries, but it evolves obviously with ingredients. But with your show, it's been around since what, 2004-ish or something like that?
Yeah, 19 years. This
19
year we
years.
celebrated 19 years of broadcasting, and December is 20 years in the making.
Right, and it's not just the US. You also, what, in Canada as well?
I film in Canada. I filmed in Bermuda, and I do many specials from Italy, of course. And one of my last show I did in Italy was in Capri, and it was a big success because who doesn't love Capri?
Yeah. Well, you got to come to Australia next. That's where you got to film next.
I would love that, Viaggio. I'm there.
Yeah, we've got
I'm there.
1.1 million Italians here. So, but in Canada, there's a lot of Italians as well, right?
Absolutely. A lot. And you know, something's interesting. I'm going to tell you this. I'm sure that you appreciated this information because Italian Americans often lose the language. So second generation, they don't speak Italian anymore. When I was in Canada filming and I was talking in Italian to those chefs just to learn that they never been in Italy, they were third generation in Italian. And I said, wow, they really kept the language so, you know, live. In America, unfortunately, second generation already lose the Italian language. I wanted my daughter to speak Italian, so I was sending her in Calabria in Italy every year. Say, okay, summer, go. And I'm so proud because she's getting married next July.
Fantastic.
And guess what? She's getting married in Calabria.
Beautiful, beautiful. The best place in the world, Calabria.
Absolutely. So I did something right.
Oh, no, I'm sure you've done many things right. What we can see of your career. So with the production company and all the streaming platforms that we have now, when you started in 2004, it wouldn't have been that easy for you to start. Like now,
No.
I like to say that with the internet, everything is an even playing field. I can even do something and jump on if I want to, right? But back
Yeah,
then, at 2004, it was very tough to start
very
anything.
hard. Very hard. First of all, I'm probably the only real Italian, with an accent and
Yeah.
everything on the American channel. So, and like you said, there was no much. I was lucky because my show was started from be very New York. So my channel has base is the state channel, the New York city channel. So they love that I was an Italian New Yorker, and we'll talk about fine Italian restaurants in New York. And then because they love the program, I said, okay, you can also explore other countries, but as long as you keep that New Yorker touch, and like you said, it was very tough. First of all, because I was not born here, so for me everything was new. I didn't know where to start. Even I had so much experience in Italy. My experience was really in Italy. So I moved here. I couldn't speak the language. I didn't know the business here. But I started watching this channel and I really love it. And I said, what do I have to lose? I'm sending them a pilot. And they love it, and then they ask me for 3, 4 more, and I said, oh my God, I only have 5. If they ask me more than 5, and then I sign up a contract for 2 years, and I said, okay, now I actually have to do all these shows because it was a weekly program. It still is a weekly program. So, but now I can rely on some old archival show. Before I was just like, I need to make many shows.
Yeah. But you'd obviously got a big team now that helps you put it all together, or you're still involved heavily in a lot of it?
Actually, I'm going to say something that I don't know. I love to work alone.
Yeah.
You know
A lot of
why?
people do. Yeah.
I like it to make all the decision. So what I do, I work with a lot of people. So they are freelancers. And I keep the one that I really love it. And the other one that I don't love it, that's okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
But because I learned to do so many different aspects in my show, and I also like to play with my program, I'm very hands-on. I don't like to delegate. I like to actually do it.
Yeah.
In the moment that I don't want to do it anymore, it's no Brindiamo, somebody else will do something else. So in fact, as I said before, I'm sorry I'm late because I was in New Jersey. Every year in October during the Italian Heritage Month, I do a project. It's called the Brindiamo Restaurant Week. Right. And I invite some old of my restaurateurs that have been on my show, and I'm inviting a new restaurant chef that they just opened, and I promote them during the whole week. And I go there now and I put the stickers on the window. I do a little interview with them, and everybody said, but you're going from Connecticut to New Jersey to Brooklyn and Queens. And I said, that's the fun part,
You enjoy
Otherwise, that's the enjoyable part. And today was fun because they introduced me to this nice couple. And the gentleman, the chef said, oh, she has a television show. It's called Brindiamo. And the guy said, oh, I love Brindiamo. Beautiful show. But he didn't recognize me.
Right, okay. So I was going to ask you about... Yeah. I was going to ask you, as you said, it is Italian Heritage Month in the US, right?
Correct.
We don't have such a thing here in Australia, which is sad, but tell me a bit about that and what is that all about? I'm assuming it promotes Italian culture, but tell us a little bit about that.
Is crazy. Yeah. I just tell you that Friday night I was at New York Canta and I interviewed so many wonderful celebrities from neck to, I can't remember all of them. Anyway, that was in Brooklyn. And then actually, no, Friday there was a concert in a restaurant. On Saturday morning, I went to this New York canta that is actually broadcast also on Rai. And then at night, I was invited by Italia. Italia is the project of the Minister of Foreign Affairs for promoting Italian roots, Turismo delle Radici. Right. So at night I was at the Cipriani for that event. Next day we were some other place that right now I don't remember. Then on Monday, because I'm part also the Comites, Comitato Italiano Esteri, and I'm the president of the Comunicazione, Eventi and Communication, the commission. I organized the Columbus Day Parade with my team, and I had Topo Gigio marching with us.
Fantastic.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
So, and then at night, I changed clothes and I went to Brooklyn. Actually, it was Queens.
Yeah.
And I get 2 awards, the one I was telling you before. And now I have the Brindiamo Restaurant Week. So practically is a month of celebration. Right. From the Minister of Foreign Affairs to the Italian Consulate to the Italian Cultural Institute. So a lot of things to do. Very exciting. Very exciting.
And does the Italian American community embrace it that month?
Yes, absolutely. Well, the Italian American community, for example, embraces definitely the Columbus Day Parade. Yeah. I believe it's more theirs than ours because they start, this year was the 80th anniversary.
Wow, fantastic.
So, and, the 80, practically those are mostly Italian Americans that they feel very strong their heritage. And so, yes, they are inclusive.
I with some of my relatives, say my grandfather's brothers and stuff, they not only, some went to New York, some went to Pennsylvania, some went to different. So America, there's a lot of Italians in different parts. Everywhere. Boston, yeah. So
we're all over.
Yeah,
we are all over. Definitely.
And obviously the Italian community and the migrants made a big impact on the United States. That is undoubtedly, you can see that. And I know that even my own great-grandfather worked on Central Station from 1904 to 1911. Sure. So, and back then it was obviously, back in those days, as you would know, there was the famine back in, especially in Calabria and Sicilia. They went to different places to make some money so they can feed their families. So, but the impact that the Italians have made on the American culture and community is undoubtedly amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why I needed to tell also now the Italians that are coming to America, they are people that are searching for success, that they bring, their knowledge in any kind of field, medical field, of course, hospitality, but of course, fashion. I mean, we are, I was walking by on 34th Street and there is this area of all furniture store, from Frau, Cappellini. And I say, wow, we are so strong in so many fields and a huge contribution, definitely.
Yeah, and it's, I'm very proud to be Italian, of course. And before I let you go, Ornella, because I know you're really busy, you got a lot of stuff going on. When Heritage Month is all over, what's the plan past that? Do you continue with your programs in America, in the US and Canada and Bermuda, like you said, or you got other projects coming up?
Well, okay, as I told you before, I'm part of the comites, so this is always some project because we are practically the glue between the Italian consulate and the Italian community. So I'm actually launching a podcast for the community, for the comites. And I'm also part of, I created, I'm the co-founder of Genial Italy Association. It's a not-for-profit organization, and we produce a magazine. Our magazine is called the Genial Italy Magazine. And in my last issues, in our last issues, there was a Topo Gigio. That's how the Topo Gigio story started, because, you know, he was very popular in the 60s and the 70s here in America because he was guest of Ed Sullivan. But for 40 years, he disappeared. But I still have a very much a child heart.
Yeah,
so
of
when
course.
I play with voice, I'm always happy.
I always say, Ornella, never grow up. It's a trap.
Exactly.
You know?
So, and in February, I'm going to be in Toronto for the Brindiamo Restaurant Week, and hopefully I'm going to film a new episode from Toronto. I will definitely let you know.
Fantastic, fantastic. And one last question I have, with all the people that have made an impact, other than yourself, on the Italian American community, you mentioned Domenico Modugno. I know there's Claudio Villa, Marcello Mastroianni. Are they all big names in the Italian American communities, or was there one that stood out to make the biggest impact?
You know, this is something interesting. I'm a little bit sad that when our big celebrity like Massimo Ranieri come to America, there is no talk show that invites them. So that's why my TV show is the only show that welcomes Italian celebrities. So when big Italian American or any kind of celebrity goes in Italy, there is so many programs that, you know, give welcomes to Madonna, Lady Gaga, you know, and I'm a little bit sad that all these fantastic celebrities that come in here for concerts, small or big. I mean, Massimo Ranieri is still huge in America.
Oh, massive. Yeah,
you know, but still in the Italian and Italian American community, not in the American community. And the fact that they don't have an agent, I guess, strong enough to push them to be guests in the American shows. Right. And, you know, that is a shame. And that's why I want them. I had Massimo Ranieri guest, I had Edoardo Bennato, Giovanni Allevi, Carlo Verdone. So I'm proud to say that the Italians, when they come to America, they can find a home in my own TV show.
At least they've got Brindiamo and Ornella Fado. And Massimo Ranieri came to Sydney a little while back, and his performance, I didn't get to go to the show. Some people, friends of mine, went, but they told me he's moving like a 20-year-old. How old is he? 80 or something?
Listen, I worked with Massimo when I was about 2021. So Massimo maybe 78, 76. I don't think he wanted to say the truth. But, you know, we all know because he's been in television for 100 years.
But he's still a wonderful performer. And I know he's still making a
amazing performer. And, you know, during the interview, I said, he can sing, he can dance, he can walk on the dog. I said, what is it that you don't do, Massimo? And he said, I don't sleep. I said,
all right, Ornella.
It's amazing. I always go to see him. So next time I'll let you know when I go.
Fantastic. All right, Ornella, I better let you go. If there's where can everybody check everything out for you? Is there, you want them to go to your web page? Do you want them to
They can go to my web page, and over there they can navigate, because I have a linear channels as well in Italy. So, but all the information are at ornellafado.com.
Okay, and we'll put all the links in the post when we do the podcast for you. And I look forward to when you come to Australia, so you can do a show in Australia, in Sydney.
I will love that. Brindiamo special edition Australia.
Beautiful. I'll come and see you for sure. All right, Ornella, thank you so much again for joining me on the My Positivo podcast. It's an honor to have you here, and congratulations on not only all the awards you've won, because they're well deserved, but keeping the Italian culture and tradition alive in different parts of the world. So thanks again, and hopefully we can talk again soon.
I will love that. Grazie, brindiamo to you and to your success.
Thank you, Ornella, and the same to you. Thank you very much. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.